Hello and welcome back. This video is about how to change your keyboard so that you can type Greek characters and put in things like accents and breathings. Now it may be that at some point that you want to type out the characters. It might be for a sermon, it might be for Bible study notes. A lot of the time, the quickest way, the simplest way for you to do that is just to go and find a Bible online, a Koine Greek Bible or an interlinear Bible, and copy and paste it. But if you want to be able to do those inputs for yourself, this video is going to show you how to do that and how, using a Greek polytonic keyboard, you can also put in accents and breathings when you need to. On a Mac, which is similar in principle to other computers, go to System Settings and click on Keyboard. You'll come up with something that looks like this. You want to go to Language Input Methods. You'll note that the Command key gives a change of input source. It's handy to have that option available so that you can quickly shift between the input sources that you use. And if you are a foreign language speaker that uses a different alphabet, such as Romanian, Ukrainian, Russian, Hebrew, things like that, then you will already have this option available to you. Under the section which says text input, you should have the options there of which languages you can use. You can see that I already have up on my screen both British and Greek keyboards. Click on the edit button next to those. Once you've clicked to edit your input sources, you'll come up with a box that looks a bit like this. Again, I've already added the Greek keyboard on mine, so your list will probably just say British and any other language keyboard inputs that you've already got. Go down to the bottom of the screen where the green arrow is pointing at the moment and click on the plus sign. There'll be a search box which you can put in Greek, and when you come up with the options, be sure to click on Greek polytonic. This will give you the ability to add accents and breathings, where a simple Greek keyboard will just give you modern Greek characters on their own without accents and breathings. Once you've added that and click done, you go back to the input sources menu. Scroll down a bit, you'll see the option to say show input menu in menu bar. Handy again to have that option checked so that it's easily available for you to quickly switch in future. Then in the top corner of your screen, next to the search and Siri icons, the date and the Wi-Fi signal, you've got the option, click on that letter and it will bring up this menu where you can select Greek polytonic keyboard to put those inputs. If you checked that option, you will also be able to just press the command button on an Apple Mac keyboard and it will simply switch on to the next language on your list. If you are using other systems, it will depend on the manufacturer and which other system you're using, so which version of Windows, what type of phone you have, things like that. I have Gboard set up on my phone, so I simply have to hold down the space bar and change the language input sources. If you're not sure, just put keyboard input sources into Google and search for how to change them, and it will put in your system and it will tell you how to do it for that particular system. I'll just give you two examples with Windows 10 and 11. It's quite similar on other operating systems. So I picked this up off a Google search and Windows 11. To add a keyboard, click on Start and then Settings, go to Time and Language and then Language and Region. Select the language that has the keyboard that you want and then select Options. Select Add and choose the keyboard you want to add. Sometimes you might have to download additional keyboards, by the way, and remember you're looking for a Greek polytonic keyboard that will give you the breathings and accents as options as well. It can be slightly different on older operating systems and different manufacturers. Here's an example of Windows 10 on Lenovo's instructions of how to do it. You input the type settings into the search bar. I mean, you can do this on various computers. Just put it into the search if you don't know how to do it. Click Advanced Keyboard Settings in the menu and select the language bar options and click on Advanced Key Settings. You can now change the input and set it up so that you can use a shortcut, as I showed you on the Mac, to select a particular key that will enable you in future to switch more easily between the languages you're using. As I said, if you come from a country where you have a different alphabet, you may already have one of these options selected, and you'll just be adding Greek to those options. So this is what you end up with if you add the polytonic Greek keyboard. These are the characters that you'll be able to type in. You might want to pause the video at this slide to have a longer look at it. Some examples here. Under the W, you'll find the sigma with a cedilla, which is used at the end of the word. Under the Y, you will find upsilon. You might expect it to be under U, but it's often translated, or transliterated I should say, as a Y. So it's actually under Y, and theta is under the U. Then in the next row down, eta will be under H. It looks like a capital H when it's capitalized. Xi is under the J. Kappa under K, lambda under L, of course, zeta under Z. Then the chi is under an X, followed by psi, and then omega is where you have V. So there's no X, there's no C and no V, so you get chi, psi, and omega next to each other. The X sound comes from psi, and that's under the J key. So the sorts of things you get when you type in on your keyboard are pretty similar between a Windows and a Mac. I've made up a crib sheet on Excel that lists what the different symbols do once you put them in on a Greek polytonic keyboard. But if you would like that, then put it in the comments or send me an email or something, and I can send that to you. The ones I've listed on the page here that I've circled in green, they're different on the Mac, but otherwise the ones that you use the most here are the same. Also, I just wanted to make a note about font. Some of the fonts render the characters in a modern typed way, and we're looking at ancient documents or if it's silly handwritten. You'll also see that Bibles that you can either purchase or look at online, the text is presented with a certain font. This very straight typed font that doesn't have a lot of character to it. I don't like those character shapes. I've highlighted in red the ones that I think are problematic. They look too indistinct from other letters. For example, the gamma looks like an uppercase upsilon, or they're just sort of a bit flattened out. The chi looks just like an X. And the two I've underlined in blue also, they're a bit better, but they're not quite the shape that you'll see in a manuscript either. So basically I like to use a font that gives a decent shape to the letters, decent in the sense that it's like it would be written and as it will look like in an interlinear Bible if you buy one or look online at them, and a bit more like the manuscripts you'll see if you Google the actual original manuscripts. That first one was Palatino linotype, and this one is Euthea, both being done from a Mac computer. And they're just two examples. There are others, but examples of fonts that give the right sort of curvature and ligature to letters that are a bit better than some of the modern typed fonts that really don't look like the sort of Greek that we're learning. There's a separate video also about the resources that you use online, apps, books, whatever else that you want to use. So do click on that next if you'd like to take a little look at that video, give you some ideas of what you can use to help you do the parsing, to help you find out what words mean, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, thanks for clicking on my video today. All the best with studying Koine Greek. Goodbye and God bless.